Back again, my people. Welcome back to the channel. And it is almost back. The Premier League, club football, and it is back to back. It is relentless. There is a game every 3 or 4 days. So let's get into it. This is my favorite part of the season because the matches don't stop coming. The excitement is always relentless around this time of the season. There is no international break to disrupt the momentum from now until somewhere in March. So it is back to back to back. And that is so exciting. Today, what I want to do is to talk a bit about some transfer rumors that are going on. I'm not going to confirm or deny whether anything is true or not. I'm just going to give my thoughts about the transfer news that we are hearing about Antoine Semenyo. And then I'm going to look at the fixtures for Liverpool, the next 5 fixtures at least, and try and see the chances of Liverpool in those fixtures. And then I'll talk about the game at the weekend against Nottingham Forest at Anfield. So let's get into it. Now, what I wanted to say about the transfers is that I think that it is quite insane to be talking about transfers at this point of the season, especially for Liverpool fans. I understand that when the team is not playing well and the results are not going well, we want to talk about other things to distract ourselves. That is true. That is all well and good. But we are in November, guys, and I just can't understand why we think talking about transfers right now is the best way to distract ourselves from the results, what is going on the field, because we are still struggling to integrate the new players we bought in the summer. So to be talking about bringing in more players, for me, doesn't make a lot of sense. But that is football for you. That is football fans. We want to talk about any and everything. So I'm okay with that. And I think there are positives to what Antoine Semenyo can bring to Liverpool. There are also things that I think that needs to improve on the side of Antoine Semenyo if he's going to join Liverpool, because the level is so high. It's way higher than what he's been used to. And when I talk about the positives that he brings, I think in terms of his presence, his energy, his passion for the game, his ability to tackle, win balls up high on the field, I think he's excellent when it comes to that. And I think that is something that this current Liverpool team do need at the top of the field. We lack that bit of extra energy and bite and determination in winning the ball back at the front. The energy at the front is not what it is supposed to be. And that is why we've been so prone to counter-attacks and long balls from the back. So I think if he does come in, I do understand why Liverpool want to bring him in. The only concern of mine is that I've watched Semenyo a lot in terms of playing for the Black Stars and also playing for Bournemouth. And I think when it comes to his consistency in terms of scoring goals, shooting, his conversion rate, I think that is where the improvement needs to come. If he is going to be successful playing for Liverpool at the top level, the expectations are through the roof, and you need to be consistent in terms of putting your shots on goal, on target, because I think he shoots a lot. He does shoot a lot. But from what I've seen, and even from the statistics that I've seen so far, most of his shots are off target. So I think he needs to improve that if he is to become a Liverpool player. So that is my take on that. And I think it would be appropriate for us to come back to this topic maybe in January if the transfer does happen. So now let's move on to Liverpool's fixtures. Now when we look at the next 5, and as I said earlier, it is relentless. It is back to back to back. it is a game every 3 or 4 days. So our next game this weekend, which is against Nottingham Forest, is at Anfield. In midweek on Wednesday, we play against PSV at home in the Champions League. And then at the weekend, we play West Ham away. And don't forget that West Ham is being coached right now by Nuno Espirito Santo. And he's the coach who first beat Arne Slot last season in the Premier League. So we are going to meet Nuno Espirito Santo. Our next game is at home against Sunderland. A very good team, maybe not as good away as they are at home. And then after Sunderland, we play again 3 days later against Leeds United away from home. And then we finish that week off, or we continue that week with Inter Milan in the Champions League, which is away, which is also going to be a pretty tough fixture. So those are our next 6 games that we have ahead of us. And at this point of the season, there are no easy games. There are no difficult games, especially for Liverpool. There are only games. So given our record in the season so far, I can't sit here and say we have easy fixtures coming up. It is very dangerous for me to say that. So we have fixtures coming up, and I hope and believe that we'll be able to win most of these games. Because when I look at the opponents, I think they are opponents that Liverpool should be able to beat on a good day. But this Liverpool team is highly unpredictable. You don't know which Liverpool is going to turn up on any given day. So we live to see. So those are our next fixtures. Now, going into the game at the weekend against Nottingham Forest. Don't forget that last season, we got only 1 point against Nottingham Forest, and we suffered our first loss of the season against Nottingham Forest in this exact fixture. So it was in this particular fixture where we were playing at home against Nottingham Forest, and it was also right after an international break. But that international break was in September, and we suffered our first defeat. Also, it is important to note that Nottingham Forest is being coached by Sean Dyche, and so they are back to the basics. They are back to using long balls. They are back to causing chaos in the opponent's penalty box. And that is something that we've seen Liverpool struggle with a lot this particular season. So the long balls, the ball hanging in the air in and around our 18-yard box is going to be on steroids this particular game. And I'm very curious to know and see how well Liverpool deal with that. Because in our last 3 games before the international break, Liverpool had played teams that put the ball on the ground, pass the ball from the back, and try to create chances from open play. This particular team we are about to meet, this Sean Dyche Nottingham Forest team, is not going to do that. They are not going to put the ball on the ground. It is something that you almost know it is guaranteed. So what I don't want to see in this particular game is to see a Liverpool team that is surprised, to see long balls, long throw-ins, ball hanging in the air in the penalty area, ball at the top, hanging back around the back post, people trying to overload the back post and head it down for someone to tap it in. That is exactly what we are going to see in this particular game. So I expect that Liverpool will have a plan and will be able to execute the plan to perfection, ideally. So that is what we expect in this particular game. In terms of the lineup, given the international break, I think one thing I want to say about the international break is the fact that some Liverpool players suffered disappointments when it comes to qualifying for the World Cup. And when I say some Liverpool players, I'm particularly referring to Dominic Szoboszlai and also Milos Kerkez. They are both from the same country. But I think the devastation on Szoboszlai's face when they failed to make it to the playoffs against Ireland was clear for everybody to see. And I don't like the look of that. It doesn't feel good for me that Dominic Szoboszlai is coming back to Liverpool a disappointed player, that his country was not able to make it, given that he is the captain. So he feels more responsible for whatever goes on with Hungary. And the fact that he's going to return disappointed could be good and it could be bad. It could be good in the sense that he's going to use that as an opportunity to set things right, to make sure that the rest of his season doesn't go to waste and play even better than he has before the international break. But the flip side of that is that he could be disappointed, he could be distraught, and that could affect his performance in a negative way. He could be less motivated to keep going. So hopefully it is the former and not the latter effect that we experience from Dominic Szoboszlai, because he's been our best player this season. He has been the most consistent top performer in our team. He's been giving at least 7 out of 10 performances every single game so far this season. So if we experience a dip in his form, that is going to be a very big problem for us. So in terms of our lineup, I don't think Alisson is back. So I'm going to go with Georgie Mamadashvili. He's going to be in posts. At the right back, I'm going to have Conor Bradley starting this particular game. We know that Jeremy Frimpong might be coming back this particular weekend, hopefully. But if he's not fully fit, then Conor Bradley gets the nod. Even if he's fully fit, I think he's still getting back his fitness. So I would start him from the bench, Jeremy Frimpong. At the left back, I'm going to go with... So I don't know who to go with, whether to go with Kerkers or Robertson, because Robertson also had a very tough international break. It was a grueling one. He qualified his country, Scotland, to the World Cup. And so on the balance of him having the more positive experience in international break, even though it was a stressful and tiring one, I'll start Andy Robertson in this particular game. At centre back, it is going to be the usual, same old Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk. In the midfield, now this is where the problem is. In the midfield for this particular game is going to be very crucial, because we are going to have the ball a lot. And one of the main problems that we face as a team this particular season is that the decision making in the final third has most often been poor. It hasn't been good enough. The decision making, moving from the back to the midfield, progressing the ball from the back to the midfield hasn't been a problem. But I think from midfield to attack and making the final pass or the pass before the assist is where we've been struggling. So this midfield is going to be very crucial. Given that we are going to have the ball a lot, we need a midfield that will be able to make the right decisions, the most crucial decisions in the most important of moments, because this kind of games, it's all about moments. It's all about taking your chances, and the chances are going to come. And when I say chances, I don't mean the final ball or the final finish. That is not the chance that I'm talking about. The chance to make a decision that gets us into a position where we create a big chance. That is where I think we've been suffering this season. So in this particular midfield, I'm going to go with Gravenberch. He's going to be very crucial for this particular game in terms of breaking counter-attacks, stopping the opponent from winning the second balls, because I've seen that what teams are doing against Liverpool, especially this season, is that they know they can't win the first balls. So they go long, right from the defense. They go long, and they know Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk are dominant in the air. They are not going to win the first ball. So what they do is that they try and prevent Konate and Virgil from getting a clean header that would almost likely be a pass, or almost likely end up with a Liverpool player. So they go in the air with them, they try to challenge them, even though they know they are not going to win the challenge. They go in the air with them, try to make it hard for them. Now, when they knock the ball down, that is when the opponent comes alive. they know they are not going to win the first ball. So they will give the first ball to Konate and Van Dijk, but they will be ready for the second ball. So they set the team up, they set themselves up to win the second ball. And I think that is where Gravenberch is going to be very important in winning those second balls after Van Dijk or Konate has won the first ball. So I'm going to play Gravenberch in the midfield with Dominic Szoboszlai. So those two at the base. And then I'll play Curtis Jones. The manager might not do this, but I think I'll play these three in midfield so that we have energy, we have the ability to run them down, hunt them down, win the second balls. I just want energy in this particular team. And so far, I haven't seen that sort of energy from either Alexis McAllister or Florian Wirtz. So that is why I'm deciding to go with this particular midfield. So my midfield is going to be Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, and Curtis Jones. My front three, I'm going to go with a front three of Cody Gakpo on the left, Hugo Ekitike up front, and Mohamed Salah on the right. So that would be my front three for this particular game. In terms of the prediction, the score prediction for this particular game, I expect a win from Liverpool. And I do want Liverpool to keep a clean sheet in this one. It's been a while since we kept a clean sheet against these types of opponents. And I think if we want to turn our season around, then these are the type of fixtures that we really need to keep clean sheets, start keeping clean sheets. Because this is going to be relentless. From now on, the fixtures are going to come thick and fast. So we need to pick our momentum right now. So why not start with a clean sheet? So I'm going to go with a 2-0 win in this particular game for Liverpool. And hopefully, we are able to get the results in this particular game. And that sets us up very well for the midweek game against PSV in the Champions League. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like the video as well if you've watched up to this point. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here. And also share the video. You never walk alone. Thank you for watching. See ya.